Good morning. Welcome to Breakfast. You're with Charlie State and Naga Munchetty.
Our headlines today, Turkey. Good morning, it's Thursday, the 10th of October. Our top story, Turkey is conducting ground and air assaults against Kurdish forces in northern Syria, despite international condemnation.
President Trump has been blamed for giving the green light for the Turkish advance by withdrawing American troops from the border. Our Washington correspondent Chris Buckler has been monitoring the situation. The United States is reported to have taken 2 British ISIS members into custody. President Trump has said his officials will speak to the American woman who claimed diplomatic immunity and left the UK after she was involved in the death of a British... Thank you very much.
Chancellor Angela Merkel has attended a memorial vigil in Berlin for 2 people killed in an anti-Semitic attack in the German...
Well, thanks very much. Speak to you later. Pleasure.
We're going to take a moment to have a look through some of the front pages for you right now on this Thursday. Anyway, Nicholas Parsons. He's 96 today.
Brilliant. Happy birthday.
Still, I know he's had
just
a little ill health
isn't it?
recently.
GB. But the point Lorraine wanted to make was that actually there are lots of other families whose children aren't well known, who aren't high profile, who go through the same thing or are perhaps suffering now. And she felt very much like she wanted to talk and represent everybody, and that Ellie had given her a voice.
It's so important because we hear from so many brilliant sports people who are now talking about the pressures of being at an elite level and what's expected of them and their own mental health problems in it. And as you say, with Lorraine, what Lorraine's saying is people need to know that this exists and it's okay to feel not great.
Not okay, that's exactly
not
what
okay.
she says.
And often it's the exterior, and that's so cruel in so many ways, isn't it? That as a parent, you're left all those questions about what you didn't know.
Yeah, very much so.
Which is very, very hard.
She has one important...
Hello, you're watching Breakfast with Charlie State and Naga Munchetty.
Let's see what's coming up this morning. The social media spat between...
Good morning. Here's a summary of today's main stories from BBC News. Turkey is conducting ground and air assaults against Kurdish forces in northern Syria, despite international condemnation. The Prime Minister will meet his Irish counterpart, Leo Varadkar, today in an attempt to find enough common ground to reach a Brexit deal. Boris Johnson...
Colleen Rooney has caused an online sensation after alleging Rebecca Vardy's Instagram account was the source of leaked stories about her in the tabloids.
You've got to enjoy Wagatha Christie, haven't you?
It's quality. It's a
It
quality
is very
line.
good. It is very good. Tell you what, no games.
That figures. Plenty of
Sorry.
padding.
Yes.
Let's see if we can get some pictures of him on
maybe.
the ice. Thanks, Al. 6:40 is the time now.
Youngsters are drowning in a flood of unhealthy food and drink options. That's according to the outgoing Chief Medical Officer for England.
Professor Dame Sally Davis says government ministers should ban eating on local public transport and phase out all adverts for less healthy food and drink at major public venues. Murray Smith is...
Hey, thanks very much.
Let's see, time now is 6:43. Time for us to have a chat with Carol. And Carol, just a thought from you, first of all. We were talking about the Rugby World Cup and those cancellations of those matches. And the organisers were having to ask questions this morning about, you know, they knew this was typhoon season. It was always a possibility, I suppose, that the worst could happen. And it seems to have come to pass.
That's before you're most likely to be on your phone for 4 hours or more a day.
But not chatting on the internet?
No, all on the internet.
I remember a long time ago when you'd be on the phone of an evening to your mates and your parents would pick up the other line.
Mum, get off the phone!
Get off the phone! Get off the phone! Yeah, always. Always.
Yeah.
And that just doesn't happen anymore because I suppose because that was the only time you could have your... You know, your evening chats. Now it's all on social media groups and...
But also, I mean, the other thing is, I don't know if you did this, Naga, but, you know, those early phone calls with boyfriends, you know, that young love, you know, and you'd be there either in a phone box with your card, you know, that kind of thing, and you'd be looking at the credit running down.
Yeah.
Don't do that anymore. It's the love game has completely changed as well.
What do you think,
This
Charlie?
has gone in a different direction, hasn't it?
What do you reckon, Charlie?
To be
Comment on
honest,
this.
as you were saying that, I was recollecting when you used to pick up the phone and you'd have a dial on
Yes.
it, and you'd have to, each number you go like that, you push it around, wait, and it
I
come
know.
back.
My auntie Sheila had one of
Wait.
those.
We
I
had
love
It would
that.
take
and
you
it's a great
it'd take
toy.
about 3 minutes to dial the number.
The worst thing was when you got through 6 numbers and you realised you'd just done that number wrong.
Down again.
And you'd have
Up
to start all over again. Yeah.
But they used to have a nice handy little tray underneath. Do you remember those? Used to underneath the dial, you used to have a little tray you could pull out, keep things in there.
Put your coins in. Oh, was it a little notebook?
Yeah.
Do you know, there's a whole load of people watching. I have no idea what we were just talking about. Harry Potter might get them back in the mood.
Absolutely.
I think, or bring them back in the room. Perhaps take a look at your bookshelf, because you may have a copy of Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. If you do, just check to see whether it's a very rare first edition hardback.
Because a copy of The Wonderful Wizard's inaugural adventure is being auctioned off later today. It cost, when it was bought, £10.99. That was 1997. Today, it could fetch up to £50,000 at auction. Tim Muffet. Time now is 6:54.
We've had some really good interviews on the programme this morning already. Sally's been speaking to Ellie Souter's mum, and we're talking a lot later in the programme to a woman about a case that she was at the centre of. It was a case that caused outrage across the world when university student Brock Turner served just 3 months in prison for sexually assaulting this woman when she was unconscious on campus.
Until very recently, she was known only as Emily Doe, but has now waived her right to anonymity to reclaim her name.
She's given her first UK television interview. Her name is Chanel Miller, and she's been telling me her story. And even when you see her, Chanel Miller, in that state there, she is so eloquent, so strong, and has reclaiming her name after saying that she would not tell anyone her name and be so scared of her identity being seen. It's a very, very powerful interview.
And you can't underestimate the scrutiny that that case came under because of all sorts of issues around privilege and about other issues.
Absolutely, absolutely. You can see the full interview with Chanel Miller just after 8:30 this morning.
Time now to get the news, the travel and the weather where you are. Good morning. It's Thursday, the 10th of October. Our top story today. Turkey is conducting ground and air assaults against Kurdish forces in northern Syria, despite international condemnation.
President Trump has been blamed for giving the green light for the Turkish advance by withdrawing American troops from the border area. Our Washington correspondent Chris Buckler has been monitoring the situation. Syrian Kurdish forces are holding thousands of prisoners from the Islamic State group, and there are concerns that the Turkish offensive will affect their ability to keep them locked up. The US military has now taken custody of 2 British IS detainees who were being held in Syria. And we will be talking about that a little bit later on in the programme. 7:09 is the time. The long-planned Turkish military operation in northeast Syria has been launched, just days after American troops pulled out of the area.
It's a move widely condemned, with world powers fearing the offensive could threaten security in the region and revive the so-called Islamic State group. Our Middle East editor, Jeremy Bowen, looks at the potential...
Well, thanks very much. See you later.
Time now is 7:19. It is World Mental Health Day today. And
we should say that details of organisations which offer information and support around mental health.
In just a moment, 7:28 the time, but it's time to get the news, the travel and the weather where you are.
Hello, you're watching Breakfast with Charlie State and Naga Munchetty.
Here's a summary of this morning's main stories from BBC News. Turkey is conducting ground and air assaults against Kurdish forces in northern Syria, despite international
The Prime Minister will meet his Irish counterpart Leo Varadkar today in an attempt to find enough common ground to reach a... What position do you...
Guess.
He's not really.
He's in goal.
He's so tall as well, so he could just literally, if you spread out enough...
Once he's got the pads on and everything, nothing's getting past
He's so bundled up as well, you won't know it's him.
Yeah,
I mean, they're completely from
you
head
see
to toe,
that
aren't
much of
they?
his face.
Yeah. Well, good luck to him.
Yeah.
We look forward to seeing him.
Sunday
Absolutely.
night, apparently, is his first game.
All right. Let's see, time now is 7:41. Thanks, Sam.
We're talking about Harry Potter now, because the first edition, or the first of the series, the Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone book, is gone for quite a bit of money because a very rare first edition has been found.
Yes, a copy of the inaugural adventure is being auctioned off a little later today. Only cost £10.99 when it was released in 1997, but they put out these figures about what they think something is going to fetch, and they estimate £50,000. Breakfast. Tim Muffet has more. They will be checking. Why not?
You know what else they've got to be checking as well? Lottery tickets. We're going to be because we're going to be talking to someone who won £108 million 5 years ago. The reason being is because there's a Euro Millions ticket worth £170 million, which hasn't been claimed from Tuesday.
It's always fascinating.
So search your
hearing
bookshelves.
from
Yes.
people who've been in those circumstances.
So that's in a few minutes. But first, we need to really get the valuable information. This is where the value comes in with Carol. Good morning. See what I did there? Is that good? Do I want to... So, one person, a family or a syndicate could be scooping that prize up this week if they find the ticket.
It's one of those really well-rehearsed conversations. Everyone has it, but when you see the numbers, it's inevitable. You just start thinking it through. What's it like when you hit the jackpot? That's the question.
Do you know, I almost wanted to be just like quite jealous and, you know, just like, "Ugh," but what a lovely man.
I know, and he's got a very open approach to the whole thing.
Yes.
You know, I got very lucky and I'm enjoying it and I've helped other people, but it's just interesting. That is definitely not a pond, it's definitely a lake.
It's a lake.
That is
There's no doubt. Victoria.
Landscape